What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and I've got a lot to get you caught up on. This is your stimulus check update and your breaking news update. Now, first up, I've got a couple of new headlines for you on stimulus checks. And take a look, you guys. More money, hundreds more families are going to be set to get monthly income for the next 2 years. I'm going to be sharing with you who's going to be eligible to receive these checks. In addition to that, Massachusetts is set to begin sending out $500 checks for thousands of low-income workers. So congratulations in the state of Massachusetts. I'm going to give you all the details. And also, as you know, the breaking news came out. I shared it with you earlier this morning that Russia attacked Ukraine officially, and we're hearing they're moving very quickly throughout the country. I've got some video footage to get you caught up on, and also we're hearing that probably very soon here now, President Joe Biden is going to be speaking, addressing the nation, and I'm going to share with you all the details as President Biden is expected to introduce new sanctions against Russia with everything going on. So you guys, going to get you caught up on the latest. Let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do, if you can do me a quick favor, just takes a second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps out my channel a ton. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. Best way to get a hold of me directly. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in, and let's start off with the breaking news of Russia and Ukraine, some video footage, what the president is going to be saying, and then we'll be talking about stimulus checks. All right, so first off, link in the description below to this article that came out less than an hour ago, and it says, what time is Biden going to be speaking today on the Russia-Ukraine conflict? Now, the article says that President Biden will deliver remarks today at the White House, where is he expected to detail new economic penalties against Russia for launching a large-scale invasion of Ukraine. U.S. lawmakers from both parties have called on the president to come down with the full suite of sanctions available. And it says, when will Biden be speaking and how to watch? Well, Mr. Biden is scheduled to deliver a speech at 12:30 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, so should be starting right around the time of my recording right now, and it will be streamed by the White House and also by the Wall Street Journal and the White House's YouTube channel. So I'll be sure to share that with you as soon as it comes out. But let me give you an update as to where things currently stand. Let's take a look at this video footage.
As Russia's military assault of Ukraine is underway, Germany's top diplomat put it in stark terms. We woke up in a different world today. CNN's Matthew Chance is on the front lines, and I want you to watch what he and his crew came upon only 20 miles outside of Kyiv.
And we are here at the Antonov Airport, which is about 25 kilometers, 15 miles or so out of the center. These troops you can see over here. Stand up, Lewis. These troops you can see over here, they are Russian airborne forces. They have taken this airport. They've allowed us to come in and be with them as they defend the perimeter of this air base here, where helicopter-borne troops, these troops, were landed in the early hours of this morning to take and to form an air bridge to allow for more troops to come in. You can see these are Russian forces. You can tell they're Russian. I've spoken to them already. You can tell they're Russian. They've got that orange and black band to identify them as Russian forces. I've spoken to the commander on the ground there within the past few minutes, and he said they are now in control of this airport. And within the past few seconds, just before you came to us, they were engaged in a firefight, presumably with the Ukrainian military, which says it is staging a counter-offensive to try and take back this airport. We can tell you now, I'm standing outside the perimeter of this Antonov air base, and it has not been taken back by the Ukrainian military. It is the Russian military. You can see them now moving back to a different position. It is the Ukrainian military who say they are now in control. This is about, I would say, about 20 miles from the center of the Ukrainian capital. And so it just shows us now for the first time just how close Russian forces have got towards the center of the Ukrainian capital. It's not just, I was speaking to officials earlier, Ukrainian officials, and they're saying that the plan isn't just to surround the Ukrainian capital. They fear now that the plan is to take the capital, to decapitate the leadership of Ukraine, and to replace that leadership with a pro-Russian government. That's what Ukrainian officials are telling us now they think is the Russian plan. And I can tell you, it is a very tense situation. We're expecting to see Ukrainian military force. We didn't even know, frankly, we didn't even know that, the Russian forces were going to be here. We assumed this was the Ukrainian forces. So I went up to speak to them saying, hey, we've come from Kiev, but it only emerged during the conversation that they're all Russians and there are no Ukrainian military forces in sight, although I can hear them because they've been shooting ferociously in the course of the past few minutes, and so we're sort of in a defensive position behind this wall here. You've got our car here with the crew here as well. As the Russian airborne troops defend this position that they've taken on the outskirts of Kiev.
Unbelievable. I mean, what Matthew Chance is saying and all of the images that are coming out of Ukraine depict a surreal scene, war in Europe. Russian President Vladimir Putin upending decades of geopolitical stability overnight when he decided to, unprovoked, launch attacks on multiple locations across Ukraine. Moments ago, a statement was just put out from the G7 leaders condemning Vladimir Putin, saying, quote, he has put himself on the wrong side of history. Joining me right now is CNN political and national security analyst David Sanger, the author of The Perfect Weapon: War, Sabotage, and Fear in the Cyber Age. Very important issue right now, specifically in what we're talking about, David. No matter, David, how this ends, do people across the globe need to start considering that this will impact and change security worldwide, including for Americans?
Oh, I think our world has changed today. Just as the German foreign minister said, I think she had it just right. And I think that's true for a couple of reasons. First of all, Kate, if you and I had been on the air a year ago and would have tried to lay odds on the thought that there would be a war in Europe unprovoked in which a rising European democracy, a flawed one, a corrupt one, but one for which there was hope, was taken over by a superpower, I don't think either one of us would have given that much chances. The second is, listening to Matthew Chance and his incredibly brave and great work out there, think about this. He's telling us Russian forces are 20 miles from Kiev. And that in itself tells you, people just this morning were thinking that would be a few days, maybe a week. I think the third big thing we have to think about for this is that we have gone from a world in 15 years where we were discussing Russia as a potential partner, even talking about whether they might join NATO, to one in which the country and its leader are an outcast. I don't think it's very long before you hear people discuss, we've heard some already, whether or not this is a war crime that's gone on because there was nothing to provoke it. There was this sort of big lie that Ukraine was seeking nuclear weapons, that it was planning genocides. All of it was nonsense. And so we have a lot to reevaluate. And then the cyber element you discussed may be what's coming.
I want to get to that in a second. But so Biden's going to announce new sanctions in just minutes. Why didn't sanctions work to stop Putin?
It's a great question. I mean, the oddity of this case is, in this particular time, Kate, is that we had near perfect intelligence. We've had other cases where we've had big intelligence failures. Here, the intelligence agencies were on it early. They analyzed it correctly. They told skeptical Europeans, hey, this isn't a bluff. We think he is getting ready to actually wage war and take back Ukraine. Even the Ukrainians didn't believe that until just a few days ago. And yet our deterrence effort failed because at the end of the day, we couldn't come up with a penalty for President Putin that seemed to him to be worse than not restoring part of the old Soviet empire. And in the end, for deterrence to work, the target of it has got to want one thing or avoid a penalty greater than they want their strategic objective. And we didn't come up with that.
So there you have it, you guys. A lot unfolding right now, and I will keep you up to date as more information rolls out here on the channel. Now, let's talk about stimulus checks. And I know a lot of people are wondering, is there going to be a fourth federal level stimulus check of $2,000? A lot of people have been waiting for that. Well, we will see what Congress decides. Right now, the Build Back Better bill is stalled in the Senate. They're trying to see if they can come up with some sort of agreement on provisions for that one, and it currently does not have a check included. We're hearing that there are going to be more phases of stimulus coming out for small businesses and to help combat the pandemic. but we will see if there's any more direct assistance to people on a federal level. Now, in the meantime, while we're waiting to see what unfolds with that, there is state, county, and city level checks coming out, and they're coming out almost every other day now. New programs to help out people during this time, and I'll keep you up to date on these. And here's the latest, you guys. Massachusetts set to begin sending out $500 checks to thousands of low-income workers. Now, the article says the first round of one-time $500 bonuses will be mailed out to thousands of low-income workers, the governor's office announced. And they said, our administration has worked quickly to design the parameters for the program with plans to efficiently begin distribution of these payments at the end of March. Now, this program will support those workers who served our communities, especially earlier in the pandemic, Governor Charlie Baker said in a statement. Now, the state's Pandemic Essential Employee Premium Pay Program will distribute $460 million to an estimated 500,000 workers. The initiative relies on federal pandemic relief dollars and was initially intended to reward low-income workers who manned the front lines at the height of the pandemic, but the eligibility criteria released by Baker's administration on Tuesday included no such parameters. Lawmakers gave the Baker administration wide leeway to develop the program's criteria, and the governor's office said that it aims to ensure that the critical support is provided quickly to deserving workers across the Commonwealth. So congratulations to those of you in Massachusetts that are low-income workers that held the front lines. 500,000 of them are going to be receiving these payments of $500. Now, in addition to that, we have this one right here. Take a look. More money. Hundreds of families set to get monthly income for 2 years. Now, this one says that the mayor of St. Paul, Minnesota, congratulations, plans to extend a program designed to give low-income families monthly income for the next 2 years. Here's how to qualify for the program. And it says in November of 2020, Mayor Melvin Carter launched the People's Prosperity Guaranteed Income Pilot to give low-income parents the additional income they need to make ends meet and the dignity to have control over their decisions. Well, money from the American Rescue Plan was used to fund that program, and that was $350 billion that was allocated in that stimulus package, and now we're seeing states, cities, and counties starting to create programs like this. Now, the first phase of the program sent 150 families $500 for 18 months. Initial analysis shows that about 28% of the funds went to food, 28% went to services, and 24% went to sales and merchandise. Participants also reported using the funds for expenses like winter clothes and Christmas presents. And Eric Hansen, director of the Economic Policy and Development for the city of Minneapolis, explained that the city has not offered cash assistance in this way before. So this is a pretty unique program for them. Now, the second phase that's going to be launching, Mayor Melvin Carter said in a State of the City address that people describe this program as a life raft for their families. So now the first phase of the program is winding down, and the mayor is getting ready to launch the second phase. And the second phase will use $4 million in federal pandemic relief dollars to send 300 families monthly payments for the next 2 years. And the second phase will also include expecting parents as well. And our goal is to impact families even before their children are born. So who is eligible? Here is all the criteria right here, and I'll also link this in the description below, so that way if this is applicable to you, you could potentially see another stimulus check coming out from St. Paul, Minnesota. So there you have it, you guys. That is the latest on stimulus checks and also the breaking news of what's unfolding right now with Russia and Ukraine. And as more information rolls out, know that I will be sure to keep you up to date here on the channel. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. If you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, take a quick second, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Also leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you like to stay up to date, totally free to do so. All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. And if you got any specific questions for me, I'm easy to get a hold of directly. All you got to do is hop on to Instagram and shoot me a DM at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.